Good morning.
Good morning.
I love Palm Sunday because it's always the year we come to visit St. Lucas. So it's hard to believe it's been a year. I'll set my water right there in case I need it. A lot has happened at Every Child's Hope in the last year. If you'll recall, when I was here last year, it was about a week before the grand opening of our William N. Dill Youth Development Center. And since last June, we've had nearly 60 children come through the Youth Development Center for residential treatment, and the facility is wonderful. The children love it. And so thank you, St. Lucas, for supporting that project. It was a very important project. But one of the other things that we have that has changed at ECH in the last year and a half or so is our foster care program. We now have doubled our foster care program in the last year and a half. And I brought a story with me this morning that I'd like to read to you. We hear a lot about foster children. Missouri has nearly 14,000 foster children, and that's not okay. So one of the things that is our job is to try to give these children, find these children a forever home. And so on Palm Sunday, I was reminded of a story of just how Jesus works through our workers. A lot of times I will give you stories about children and successes of children, but this is about a young lady who began her career at age 22 about 3 years ago with Every Child's Hope, and the first case she worked with. So bear with me as I share this story. In 2022, a group of 5 siblings entered foster care around the same time I began my career with case management. Little did I know these children would change every aspect of how I view my job. The home these children were removed from was something you could only imagine in books and movies, and not in a good way. All of the children were severely delayed in speech and had never been enrolled in school. Their muscle tone was so weak, they were unable to jump, run, or open and close water bottles. One of them didn't even know what rain was. The decision to separate the children for placement was not easy, but it was required because there aren't a lot of homes who are going to take in 5 siblings, especially 5 siblings with special needs. Luckily, the children were placed in 4 wonderful homes that seemed to be created specifically for their needs. For each of their unique personalities, needs, and challenges, these homes were the stepping stones into helping these children become who they were always meant to be. Not only did the providers work together, to work through traumas and behaviors the kids came with to their homes, seasonal allergies, but also the ones that revealed themselves after they'd been placed. These providers took into consideration other siblings in their home and the necessity of rebuilding a healthier sibling dynamic. In an effort to rebuild a healthier sibling dynamic, visitation was consistent but not always easy. There were meltdowns, heart-wrenching goodbyes, and questions I didn't have the concrete answers to. However, there were also many cherished moments. Adventure time, frozen sing-alongs, flexing our biceps to show our muscles, and making sure every hand had a snack in it. When we couldn't visit in person, I watched 5 little faces on Zoom. Their little voices carried over each other, too excited to tell everyone about their school and their friends. Despite a collective effort, unfortunately, the trajectory of the case was changed to termination of parental rights. That's when I set my mind to one thing. If I wasn't able to reunify the kids with their parents, the very least I wanted to do is reunify them with each other. After many conversations and planning, the provider for our oldest sibling came forward and said she'd be willing to open her home to all 5 children. With a leap of faith, I developed a plan to transition each sibling into the home with a buffer period for adjustment and potential behaviors to arise. The provider and I game planned potential behaviors and adverse dynamics for each move and each youth. This transition was not easy in the slightest, despite Despite the individual changes the kids had made, they had not lived under the same roof since their removal, so for over 2 years. There was regression, old dynamics resurfacing, school changes, and more. The provider and I had worked closely to reframe these behaviors and rebuild her confidence in taking such a unique group of children with an even more unique set of challenges. Over time, what seemed impossible finally began to unfold before our eyes. The kids began to adjust to household rules, fell in love with their new school, and most importantly, learned what it meant to be part of a family. The oldest, who is now able to run, skip, and talk, is throwing her weight around as big sister, which isn't going very well with the next sister in line. So the next sister is still adjusting to the change of hierarchy, but has developed a colorful imagination that she shares with everyone she meets. Their brother went from having explosive meltdowns to being an extremely caring and gentle youth that loves his sisters more than life itself. The youngest two, who had remained together during all of this time, were finally able to overcome their negative emotions from being without their siblings. For the last 2.5 to 3 years, I've worked alongside and grown up with these 5 children. Going from Miss Maddie to Aunt Maddie has been the best promotion I have ever received or could ever receive at Every Child's Hope. Thanks to the dedication and fierce advocacy of the children's past placement providers and the courage of their new adopted mother, now all 5 siblings are on their way to their forever, in their forever home that they call their castle. So thank you for everything you do and for helping to make these things possible. That's what we strive for. And in closing, I just want to share Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Thank you.
Perfect. Amen. Amen.